everyone. Welcome back to the month in review for May 2021. As always, I'm Poppy, star reporter for the Cordovan Informant, and I am here to get you all caught up on all things Chaldea. Let's talk about Actoroke. Since the last time we checked in, we've had 2 viewing parties, 2 actor spokies, 2 RPG sessions, and 1 actor studio.
Not long before Warrior will manifest in the evening sky, the Crucible enters the port of Graver's Dig. As they approach landfall, the walled town of Sheol catches their attention on a hill. That, however, is not their destination. Instead, Graver's Dig, a Samarian wildlands frontier boomtown. But I'm curious how Cal feels about, Pansy and Armando and Torgrim and Flock.
This is what I want to know too. Yes.
I think he very much this is not just because Sarah is here, and this is not just because
Lies.
Sarah and I get along very, very well. I think he has just because of the backstory purely as well, I think he has a deeper appreciation for Pansy over the others, just because there's that connection of we are thieves, we understand the way the world works a little bit differently than everybody else.
Torgrim, you hear a voice from up on a balcony of, looks like an inn, a second floor balcony. You hear a voice that you have not heard in many, many years, decades perhaps, a familiar voice, a female dwarf, and she calls out to you and she says, "Torgrim, is that you?" And you look up and you see a clan dwarf by the name of Serakka Cloudforge. And she is royalty. She's a princess, if you will, in the Cloudforge clan, the clan that you come from. When this scene opens, actually, with Serakka calling out to Torgrim, but editing-wise, I'm going to have the camera on Torgrim, and so John, you're looking ahead. She's calling to you from above. Normally, I always say look at the camera for yours, but she's going to say your name, and then she's going to ask if it's you. When she says your name, you suddenly look like this, but you know how when you hear a voice in the distance, you don't always register which direction it is. Yeah. So when you hear your name, go to alert, and then when she asks you how you are, you look up and you see her. And then when I go to your line, Jennifer, act like you're leaning over the balcony a little bit and looking down at him, okay?
Hi.
The noise of the marketplace is now replaced with the noise of preparation for the coming nightlife.
Torgrim, is that you?
Torgrim squints, craning his neck skyward to the voice and to a torchlit balcony where he spots Serakka Cloudforge, dwarven princess, aristocrat, heir to Clan Cloudforge, and Torgrim's favorite first cousin.
I was just going to ask, if there ever is some kind of magic spell, something that happens that creates 2 pansies, would this party survive? If we get Sarah...
Yeah, Violet.
Yes.
No. We'd probably take everybody down, but it would be super fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
It'd be a blast.
Yeah,
well,
nobody would
I think
complain.
the rest of the group will be trying to keep up with this 2 pansy to clean up the mess they made.
Yeah, that feels right.
So you find this item, and even though there was this big fire and there's no signs of any weapons or armor or anything, jewelry, money on any of these creatures, there is this double-bladed sword that looks in pristine condition. Wonder what that means.
Oh, look.
Wait. I know.
What's that shiny thing?
Well, you can grab that. I'm just going to get out of this flame and smoke, and maybe.
I will. Well, I'll pick up a double-bladed sword.
Yeah, I kind of assumed you guys waited until the smoke kind of cleared.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And then.
So much action. We also released 5 podcasts. 5. 2 more chapters of Discordia and the Fortis Stone, and 3 sets of articles from the KI.
Legends of mythical beasts once told by local villagers, and lost cities in the mountains that still sparked tales of warning and woe. Imogen had seen them 1,000 times, so often that she barely noticed them as she entered the room. The Duke's vast baritone filled the room, brooking no argument and inviting no discussion.
Further, rumors abound of mutant creatures and animals that exist in the bogs bordering the lake. Twisted, unnatural, and with monstrous abnormalities. A curse against nature, they are so described, and all that is good and wholesome. Gravers for decades have sought to penetrate this veil of secrecy, and yet we still know very little of their encounters or the kingdom at large itself. One must ask, then, what did Emperor Cordavan know about Gramery that made him isolated in such a manner?
The bearded man faced his eldest son. Go back to Gaunt, Darren. Take 3 more knights and 200 men at arms. If the populace gives you any reason, any at all, you are authorized to burn fields, seize warehouses and silos, and, if necessary, throw that sniveling baron into his own dungeon. Enforce peace, maintain control. Yes, father, Darren said through gritted teeth.
The glance. Kanahu complains about Hessen beef tariffs. Hessen love of sausage has created a huge market for beef and pork throughout Hesse, Munchkin, and Stolhofen, and Kanahu merchants have been eager to help fill that demand. Now Hesse has implemented a protectionist tariff on beef imports in response to concerns from cattle farmers that imported beef will hurt the Hessen economy and lower beef standards. Kanahu claims these tariffs are unlawful and has filed a complaint with the Imperial Council of Commerce, Ramzi Ka'adir Khalib. Time Discovery, a Graver Guide to Monsters and Critters. Ogstad's very own daughter, retired graver and university professor Lady Little Time, has written and published a life-form encyclopedia. A catalog of monsters, she calls it. The term monster is an often misused kitschy phrase tossed slapdash around to describe the unknown, she explained from her university office. A sapphire gecko was perched regally behind her, underscoring her love of animals. Peter Adkison and Steve Conard sat down with Steve Schwartzstein and Michelle Takahashi to chat about writing for Chaldea and how they all came together.
Well, the Marco story, which is just, it's actually turned into one of my favorites, especially it feels like a sitcom that we could just, if we wanted to do a spinoff from Chaldea, we could just do the Cordovan informant, story, sort of like The Office or whatever. We just love it.
What do you like getting into the head of the characters? Like, what do you think? How would you tell? Let's say you hired a writing assistant. And you're like saying, "Hey, okay, you're going to be writing for Sarva. Well, this is what you got to know about Sarva. You got to know that she is da 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 da."
Yeah, I mean, Sarva as a character is interesting because it's one of those things. It sort of evolved, I think, her character, and a lot of times it evolved in the sense when Michelle got involved in the project. to be honest, because the way I was writing her, I think initially, and that world, Sarva's world, was really, it was sort of a reverse. It was a man's world, sort of reversed. They were taking on male characteristics in a way.
It's like you definitely have to let go. You can't be precious about everything you write, because what seems good in your head at 2 a.m. in the morning and you think this is amazing, and then the next morning you wake up, wow, that's not as amazing as it was at the 2 a.m. point, and so you have to be thicker skin and be open to criticism, because it's constructive criticism, and you only get better when you get pushback and you get comments to help you be a better writer. If everyone's telling you how great your stuff is, then how are you going to grow as a writer? You need that feedback.
And we brought back our Deeper Delve series to chat about Enumians, the real stars of Chaldea.
The navigation's done through like mysticism and cosmology and all kind of things like this, and astrology and ley lines and all this sort of stuff. And as soon as you started like laying out that there are all these constellations, I said, well, the constellations need to be our constellations. They need to be cool and unique, not just steal them from Earth.
Numians also have a relationships with each other that are and with ideas. Each Numian is essentially a manifestation of some sort of concept, like greed, or war, or the universe, or what have you, like a sphere of influence of a god, very similar. And each Numian is attempting to spread its influence across Chaldea. And the relationships, Numians have relationships with each other based on these concepts in a way that's kind of easy to understand. Love and forbidden love have a positive relationship because they're both about love, but they don't have a very good relationship with hate.
Yeah.
Or monster or something like that.
That was a lot, but there's always more. You can visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at World of Chaldea. You can hop on over to our website, worldofchaldea.com or actoroke.com. And we're also on YouTube, as you know, because, well, you're here. As always, I'm Poppy, and I will see you next time. Bye! And we brought back our Deeper Delve series to chat about Anumians, the real stars of Chaldea.
I get it.
Do you get it?
Yeah, I do.
Because they're constellations?